Hi, my name is Samantha E, and you're watching Marital Values, where we talk about godly marriage, family, and things that are important to our lives in general. Today I'm with Honorine and Yapi Adoko, and I want to talk about intimacy in marriage. This is something that as Christians, most of us shy away from it. Some feel like, it's not too, I don't know if you understand what I meant, but today I wanted to bring it to light, and I couldn't think of the best couple to talk about intimacy in marriage, apart from this two. So join me, welcome Honorine and Yapi Adoko. Intimacy in marriage. How important is it?
Well, I mean, it's a very interesting question when it comes to Christian's family, because like you just prelude to it, people are very shy. Christians especially are very shy when it comes to intimacy, but you have to understand that family is held together with intimacy. With that intimacy, it's really hard to focus on what matters, because like I always tell my wife, and I joke around, say intimacy or love is actually what makes the world go around, because it is scientifically proven that by having sexual intercourse or whatever, intimacy in general in a relationship, it allows the person to release the tension or whatever nature that can be. So that's the one point. The second point is that it creates that kind of bond in a relationship, because if there's not that, then what really holding the relation together?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you're together, you forming a family, you have kids, all that, but if on your marital level you don't have anything going for you, then it's like you're traveling, going somewhere, but you don't have any destination you're going to.
Wow.
You know, so I would say generally intimacy is really important in a marriage, and that's something that nobody should shy away from. It's part of the anatomical, physiological of human being existence. So it's not possible to not have intimacy in a relationship. So I advise people to whatever custom they have, whatever culture they're coming from, whatever it is, they have to understand that intimacy is actually the foundation. Besides financial issues, of course, intimacy is really the foundation of that holds bonds a couple together.
And also, it's not just about the sexual part.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, it's about connecting with one another.
Okay.
It's important in a marriage to have a connection. You can have a spiritual connection with your husband, and also an intimate relation with your husband, which is important. You know, also with the children too. You can have some type of family intimacy with the children. Like for instance, spending time together with the kids and your husband, you know, or also with the marriage, you can date, you know.
Absolutely. Schedule, not schedule, but not impromptu either, but have some type of thing going on that way. You spend time with your
planned out.
You can plan. That's what we do sometimes. We plan dates, to be able, because there's too much things going on. Sometimes he work, I work, and sometimes we don't have time to connect.
Yeah.
We need that time, or wait some time from the kids. Like the pastor was saying, also sometimes you can include the kids, but without the kids is important too, because sometimes we forget that. Like you've been married with somebody so long, and then you guys get used to each other. Sometimes
it comes out brother and sister, but
but it's not that.
Way
you have to make time for each other.
Absolutely.
It's not easy in this country, but you have to. Even if it's once a month or whatever, you have to.
So let's talk about the spiritual part of it. Not a lot of people talk about spiritual intimacy. What is that? Because growing up, I never really knew that there's a spiritual part to like connecting with someone else until I began to dig deep into the Bible and knew that even sexual intercourse with another person, you're spiritually connected with that person. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Well, the Bible alludes to that a little bit in the fact that when you are having intimacy or sexual relationship with someone on the spiritual level, it becomes one being, and that can be the point of contact from anything that is diabolical, that is not from God.
Yeah.
So that's why the Bible precludes, and that is very important. That not in the Bible, but saying that it's good to be faithful, to have one partner, one spouse, and and then be connected on that level, because you're once you marry your soul, I mean somebody that you share a lot with, you become one on the spiritual level. And also not only that, but before even going to that level, you have first of all have to be Christian. That's one thing. You have to be Christian. You have to be have all everything that comes as being a Christian. You know, born again, have faith. You know, choose Jesus as your Christ and Savior.
Let us back up a little.
Right.
So I want to get something straight. So you have to be a Christian. Do we have to be a Christian before we're spiritually connected to our partner, or regardless of whether we're a Christian or not? In as much as you're having sexual intercourse with a person, you become one with that person.
Well, you don't have to be Christian. I mean, because like we know that even the evil spirit also exists in the spiritual realm.
True.
Right? So you don't have to be Christian. But the reason why I alluded to that, we could be talking about marital values, and mostly looking at the positive aspects instead of looking at the negative aspects. But we can talk about both, of course.
Yeah.
But so that's one. And the fact that you choose somebody as your partner, and then you decide to live your life together till death do you part, that's a long journey. And to sustain that journey, you need somebody that you can do the journey with. And you can only do the journey with the person that are lost during the journey, or being losing your focus. You gotta have that Christianity in you. And then the first thing I would always say, the connection. And then what I would like to really say, sometimes it's not just that. I know we're talking about the spiritual part, but before we even get to the spiritual part, be one. I think it all comes from the disposition of the person itself. If you don't have somebody that is not well in its own, like doesn't have a good heart, for instance, that doesn't know what is important in life, then it's going to be really difficult for that person to agree with the significant other to be on that spiritual journey. So you got to be that part first, that physical understanding and every other thing that are required in the marriage first, before you take that leap to get to that spiritual level. You can spend all your life with somebody not be on the same spiritual level. We are a couple where one person is Christian, the other person is not. You know, so I think before you even get to that one aspect of the spirit, you gotta have somebody where you already have connections, Christian on the religious. I don't want to say religious, but I want to say on the Christianity level. The Christianity level, yes.
Even for those who don't, those of us who are not, those few who are not Christians that are watching this, I think it still pertains to everybody. You know, Christian or no Christian, once you're having intercourse with someone that is even if it's not your spouse, there's a connection, there's a transfer.
Yeah, there's a spiritual connection
between both of you. So that's why we want to be careful who we lay in bed with, because that person deposits in us, and we deposit in that person. So whatever the person carries, kind of,
that's what you carry.
You kind of get a little bit, or almost all of it from the person, and same goes for the other person too.
And then when you're going from relationship to relationship, sometimes you carry so much that when you finally found the right person, you know, that those baggage still there.
Yeah, that work hard.
And then it would take a long time, you know, for you to be able to really be free from it. You know, that's why sometimes in church we have people, even after being, you know, in marriage, being in the church and everything, they're still looking out there. You know, they're still finding they're still looking for something. We don't know what. You know, sometimes it's good sometimes to wait and be patient. You know, we come from,
I would say all the time it's good to wait and be patient. Sometimes. And it's interesting that you're talking about that after like going round and then you finally find the one that you want to spend your life with. What is interesting about that is it can open difficult doors for you. That's why sometimes you see people, we begin to experience things that we don't understand in our marriage, but we
like
don't know that.
Blockage. You don't know.
So we
forget that. Oh, it's from this relationship that I had, you know, and then all of a sudden it will take years sometimes. You know, sometimes
and you
it's
have
good
to,
to wait.
I believe you have to pray that out. You have to realize that you have to start breaking ties. Because there's a tie between you and every person that you make with. So now you're in a marriage, it will begin to affect you because you've been intimate with several people. Even if one person that is really not on the right stand, you know, and you carry that, and we don't know why things happen until we realize that.
That's right.
And begin to break that tie. We keep experiencing problems that we cannot even explain. So thank you for pointing that out. So I've spoken with a lot of people about intimacy, and one thing that always comes to mind when we talk is like, oh, we need sex in our marriage. It's very important in marriage. We know sex is important, but is intimacy?
But it's not
sex. Okay. That's what I wanted to ask.
Sex is just one part of it.
It's just one part. You have to connect, you know, again, spiritually, you know, mentally, you have to connect, you know, like with that person that you're with, you have to be best friends.
Sure.
You have to be able to understand each other, you know, it's not always, sometimes some relationship is start with sex. You know, in the beginning you guys are like attractive, but after that, what comes after? You know, after being so long, like 18 years with my husband, I love him and everything, but sometimes it's not that connects us. It's not sex that connects us, you know. Sometimes it's just a simple fact that we can state, you know, like a simple hug, you know, sometimes you just hug me. I'll be like, oh babe, I just need a hug. And I'm good.
Might just sit down with me and let's talk.
You know, Or sometimes it's like, babe, let's just kick in. You know what I mean? It's not, the sex will come after. You know, you have to be able to connect. Or not. Listen, sometimes you'll be like, okay, and then you go,
you're tired.
so
I am not crazy.
It's just like you have to understand each other too. You know, sometimes there's circumstances that come in life that you won't be able to have it all the time. So you have to be able to how can I say, restrain yourself or
adjustable to whatever.
Adjustable to any situation. You know, like sometimes they say, oh, you have to fast, like as Christian, or when you fast there's not. So if it's the sex that connects you, how are you guys gonna
do the fasting?
Talking about fasting and not having sex. Someone always told me that even when you're fasting you can have sex, because fasting doesn't necessarily mean that we're fasting sex. It could be we're just fasting food. So what would you say? I thought when you're fasting, you know, you restrain from everything that gives you pleasure, but these days we see a lot of fast. We're fasting breakfast, we're fasting liquid, we're fasting food, we're fasting just lunch. What exactly, do we stay away or we can still have sex when we're fasting?
Well, on that subject, I think I can't really give a definite answer, because we want to talk about, when we give an answer, we have to have a referential. We got to have a reference where we take it from, and our reference is the Bible. But I don't know exactly what the Bible say about that, so I can't really say anything.
I know there was a Jesus fast, which he fast for 40 days. The Bible say what? Once he was done, he said what? He was hungry. So I believe probably he was drinking, right? And then there's Esther fast for 3 days. He's just talking about not eating for 3 days, not food for 3 days.
You think Jesus was drinking when he was fasting?
I kind of believe it, because the first thing he asked was food. He said he was hungry.
After the 40 days,
He didn't talk about.
That's something that.
He didn't talk about was thirsty.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. Maybe that's me.
Okay, that's what you believe.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was the Daniel fast, which required him not just to eat, vegetable and stuff. So for me, fasting for me is. When they talk about fasting, I'm referring into those 3 that I know. I don't know if there's other fast in the Bible.
When it comes to
so for me, if somebody
we're talking biblically now.
Okay. So if they talk about fasting, you like you say, you refer to anything that the flesh, you completely give everything to God. Okay. So there's no, for me, sex is pleasure. It gives you pleasure.
Yeah.
Not in a spiritual level, but in a what you call it, physical level.
Coming to that level, many times she always had to say, "Hey, not today," because we fasting, we can't do that. I'm like, so if you know that it's not really part of the fast, so why are you using that as a strategy? You
let yourself out.
Exactly.
Listen, we gotta do what we gotta do.
We're fasting.
Remind her anytime you're fasting and she says that. Tell her we have the record in where you stand.
No, but the thing is, it doesn't talk about the sexual part.
So that's your own thing.
So that's yours. That's yours just to get loose.
Okay.
Well, that is so funny. So, another part of intimacy where I want to talk about is how do you cope with children can give you like a mental breakdown sometimes. You're tired, you're exhausted, especially for us women. Once we start having kids, or when we're even pregnant, some of us we don't want sex. We don't feel like it. It's not like we want to be mean or something.
But our body don't respond.
All you want to do is just like rest. You don't want to. Even when the baby comes, it takes a while for the libido to come. So how do you cope?
I had that issue too.
How did you cope then?
I had that. I remember when I had my second daughter, because my first one I had I had C-section, but my second one was vaginal, and I was traumatized.
Wow.
I was like, my husband, I was like, don't touch me, don't.
Wow.
For like, how was it? 6 months?
Wow, that's a long time.
No, I was like, even the doctor was like, do you need medication? Like, I was completely freaked out. But thank God, he was there all, to support me and everything. He was very supportive.
How did you cope with that?
Yeah,
sex cannot,
because
I mean,
even though I felt bad, but
you just. I mean, remember you're in a relationship where you support the person through thick, and thin, So, and then let's say we get married for the better, for the worse. So whatever comes, you cope with it. You just deal with it. Just show your support, to just make the situation.
So for men who are going through that now, what would you say to them that don't know? Because some of them don't know that other couples struggled or struggled with something like that. Some people might be struggling with it right now.
Yeah, I mean, wanting sex is like sometimes like also like being hungry and wanting to eat. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes deciding to fast, not to eat all day or whatever. Maybe I extrapolate a little bit, but it is a decision that you just take. You know what I'm saying? Let me go through this. Let me be strong, during that period to support her or whatever she's going through. And
was there any other way you guys were connecting though? After the no sex part, was there any other that way you were connecting? Were you cuddling? Were you doing it?
Yeah,
you do all of course. You do all this stuff. Yeah. You do all this stuff, but it's just that the person is not.
I was not ready.
The person is not the receiving end yet. Not ready for it. So what you do? Just do what you come with the new.
You were letting him hug. You were letting him peck. You were letting him.
Yes, I was doing that.
You do that. You come up with some coping mechanism, like it can be other form of sexual intercourse, but it can be this. I'm not gonna go through all the everything that concerns what you call sex, but if it's not intercourse, it'll be something else.
Well,
you know
I want to go there because we're talking about marriage and we're talking about sexual intercourse. Now, as a couple, a Christian couple, is it okay to use other pleasing tools?
You don't have that.
You don't have that. You don't believe in that.
No.
You don't believe in sexual toys and all those things.
No.
Why not?
I think sex toys
It's already too much to handle. And then
I mean, that's like I say, to each his own, but
Yeah.
it's not something that we then thought about.
no, we never did. It's like
We never
it's already too
thought
much. It's too much now.
So
I know. This is like people use that as an extension of the
Yeah.
so all those
I already
time you
have
were waiting
much-
for 6 months, you didn't think of that. You never crossed your
No,
mind to do
never.
that.
No.
I mean,
Would you ever allow them to do that?
No,
Why not?
because no.
So you are the one who cannot give at that point.
Yeah, but it wasn't like my fault. Like my body was just like
Your body shut down, kind
yes, yes.
of. Yeah. So for
It
you,
was like what
It was like-
postpartum. It was I don't know.
It's kind of psychological.
Yeah, I even went to see a doctor and stuff, but it was just like
no.
Sometimes the person just don't. Sometimes don't even want to. Some person don't even touch. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you just have to cope with it.
Yeah.
At the same time, the person explains to you, this is what's going on with me.
Yeah.
Whatever, blah, blah, blah.
So
But
even
it's
the
not-
doctor told me it's gonna take her time.
Yeah,
It's
it
not-
takes
it's
understanding a lot of
understanding.
understanding
It's not
because not
easy.
everybody
It's not easy.
understands that.
It's not easy.
You know,
Like
no,
I was
it's
telling,
not.
I was telling my wife, and then also that's what I alluded to in the beginning. I saying that it's everything. It's about the heart. The person, your heart is in the right place. Then anything else will fall in place. Because if I was a dumb one, like people that run after ladies, this is an occasion for me probably to go out there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
I'm always been this one
And biblically, it's wrong, you know, with
Yeah.
Christians, and we know
Yeah.
what the Bible talks about.
Yeah, I'm
But
always
then again,
been-
the Bible says, though, that we should not withhold our bodies. Otherwise, things like that could happen.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So if you somebody that had a habit before the person get married, the temptation is there. It can be easy. But I always been a one lady guy.
But I was
one
not
girlfriend
doing
all
it
the
because
time.
I
When I'm
want
done,
to
then I
give
move to the next one.
to hurt
I
him.
don't
You
do
know, it
two
was
at the
like a
same time,
medical
so.
kind of condition that I had, and
Yeah.
then but luckily it passed. And
So, how do
We
you
went back-
feel? How do you feel? Is it okay to withhold sex from your partner?
Well,
no, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
So it's not okay to withhold sex from your partner, no matter what.
no. If
it
you
depends on the condition.
If it's not a medical condition.
Yeah, if it's not a medical condition.
Say you're tired.
Sometimes you're tired. It happens.
that's okay?
You know,
No, if you-
Does that make it okay?
it doesn't make it doesn't make it okay, but you have to accept the person's availability.
You have to be
That's also
respectful.
what makes that's what is part of the marriage. So if you don't, and then you're forcing yourself into the person that we're going to the fringe of
So how long
harassment.
So at
You know
this
what I'm
point,
saying?
how long do you think it's okay to wait for before that intimacy or sex right
For
now?
me, first of all, it has to be spontaneous. When you love each other, it has to be spontaneous. Sometimes you don't have that opportunity to have a spontaneous type of relationship, you know.
I don't want to cut you short. When you say spontaneous, you wait for a week. Your wife is not spontaneous in any way to bring that coming, and you wait for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you think
2
of
weeks.
No, I mean,
It's too,
I mean,
it's too long.
Like I say, technically, scientifically speaking, it should be something that it should go on at least once a week. At least.
Once
I'm not
a
saying
week.
at once,
Okay.
but what I'm trying to say, at least a week something gotta happen.
Okay.
You know, every week something gotta happen.
Once a week we can
You
do
know?
that.
That's a week. Good to know.
No, I'm just saying that from the perspective of.
He's trying to tell you, please don't decrease the number.
But what I'm trying to say is that at least maybe I apologize for putting a number to it. But what I'm trying to say is that at least something gotta happen every week. Something gotta
Every
happen. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, now.
So take
you
note,
gotta,
please,
you gotta keep.
because he might want like 5 times a week, but now that he gave himself,
That number is a mistake. So, but But remember, it's like a flame. You gotta keep the flame going.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the flame going. So love in the marriage, that love gotta be sustained by any means possible. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta let the flame going, but let it continue. By the way, that flame continues to actually sustain it by always having something going on. You know.
Alright, here's my last question. For people who have been through marriage, I don't know if you've been through like rough times in your marriage, and you don't feel like that intimacy is broken. How do you begin to build intimacy again? So what would you advise people that are struggling, like, hey, my partner has hurt me, I feel like, I don't know, I can't be intimate. What would be your advice to
For
this?
me, I can't really, we've been through things, but it's never been an issue. It never be the reason why we should separate.
It's mostly
in the contrary, it put us together.
Okay.
Because we noticed that when we together, when times of trouble, that's where we see our breakthrough instead of being like apart.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's really.
Intimacy has never been one of our problem, really.
Okay.
Maybe the problem you're trying to allude to, maybe a social problem, like maybe one partner is probably step out of the marriage.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. There are things sometimes getting into marriage for me. I never believed in my husband saying no when I asked for something.
Oh, okay.
And it took a while for me to get used to that. Like that's not going to be the last no you will hear. And you just have to get used to it. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's trying to be mean or something. There are times in heated conversation where your spouse has said some things to you, and you've also said some things to them, and you just find yourself like, wait, you really hurt me. And maybe one partner can easily get out of it and be like, okay, let's go back to the way we are. And another partner is beginning to struggle with this. How do you begin to build it back?
Oh, it's always through dialogue. We gotta always be open to talk about what issue is going on, you know. Because if you don't talk about it, then who's gonna talk about it? I'm not a believer or somebody that takes your issue from the family and bring it outside. We'll tell people to fix your problem.
A big thing.
We never
even
have
before
friends
we got married, we were like, okay, whatever going on is between the men upstairs, you and I. Like there's a lot of issue that we had.
It's funny because all this time we've been together, nobody know that every couple has issues.
Some people are like, oh, you guys are great because we don't bring us up.
Because we talk about it. Like we usually commonly say that we wash our dirty linen inside. You know, we don't bring it outside. We have friends that basically that's the issue we have all the time, and we've been mediators in many marriage issues, problems because of the fact that they see us and
but we tell them that we have issues. This is how we resolve our issues.
Okay. So what you're saying is, if you find yourself in the situation, you need to talk about it.
You talk about it. Never ever bring your
and then talk about it. Don't mean you're going to resolve it there.
True.
But at least you talked about it.
And final way forward, there's one thing to talk about it. I believe there's another thing to like make feasible plan to resolve it. And a lot of patients needs to I found that one mistake that a lot of couples make is we have an issue and for example, I bounced back, I forgave you, and I'm okay. Now you expect the person to automatically be on the same level with you, which could be like a very big mistake that couples make. So I feel like if you've been there, you've made peace with whatever happened, let the other person make peace with it. Do not force it.
Basically, me when my wife and I have an issue, well, one thing that we don't allow it's the profanity or the cursing or ripping the other person. We don't do that.
Respect.
There's my wife and I have been together 19 years, never ever utter a profanity word to each other, never. But that is something that you see here all the time. And if you don't have that reason, you break that bondage, that barrier, then you leave the door open to anything else. The moment you start cursing your wife like somebody you met in the street, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry, someone told me that when you refer to your wife as a tiger, then you leave for work. When you come back, you're going to meet a tiger.
Of course. So that's one thing that I'm thankful for God that we don't allow any profanity. My kids don't use profanity. We never ever utter profane word in my house. Never ever. So that's the first point, you know. And the second point is like you have to be. So the first point is respect, you know.
Yeah.
And the second point is to be open for conversation. Me, I'm the type of person. I like to let things cool off. You know, when there's an argument. My wife's the one that talks a lot. Me, I'm a.
I keep going. Sometimes you leave.
I just sit down and I let her talk. I just let her talk until she.
Well, that's wisdom, right? And this is sort of that you're not talking back to.
Yeah, I say what I have to say. When I'm done, I keep quiet and just let her.
Don't you just piss you off when you're talking and he's not saying anything?
Exactly. Another thing that I also do that piece of is that. When it's like that, I ignore her. I let it cool off for days. Not talking to her, let her do her thing till. Because my wife is very hard.
You're not talking about malice though. You don't do malice.
No, it's not malice.
Okay.
It's not malice. It's to cool. She's very hard to cool off. Very. I mean, I can cool off the next couple hours, few hours. But her is difficult. So which I understand. Every person is difficult. So what I do, I leave it. Let it be. So I let her be, and she doesn't even like when I ignore her either. But I let her be because that's the way to really solve the issue till she cools down.
So
once she cools down, and then she takes the step, and then you know.
Okay. How would you like him when you think that he's ignoring you? What are you expecting him to do?
Just to say something. You know, just to say something. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you be like, okay, babe, it's okay. Let it go. You know. Or you come and say something.
Let it go makes you feel better?
But she doesn't. But
no, it doesn't. But sometimes he has to, you know, man, like he has a way to do it. You know, sometimes I let go. I be like, okay,
it's enough.
Yeah, and sometimes we like, okay, it's enough. And then I come and be like, listen, actually, you hurt me. What she did, you know, I kind of explained to him
Well, that is
what he did because sometimes they don't realize it. Men sometimes they don't. Me, I'm very sensitive. Like
my wife is very sensitive, and that's
especially when it comes to
something I try to deal with. She's very sensitive. I can be saying something in my mind. I'm thinking it's something like to.
It's good, and then it's like
good, and then she flip it around. No, this is what you meant. I'm like, really?
And then sometimes you don't get it until I come and be like, okay. This is what I feel, this is what you did, this is what I'm acting this way. And then he's like, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it.
Well,
and then what I love about my husband that is that it's not because we're here on camera, but he apologizes when he's wrong. He knows how to, he knows how to apologize, and that's one thing I love about him. You know, he's quick.
How can that not strengthen intimacy? Talking about resolving conflicts and not letting it just stay like because a lot of people rock sweep a lot too. You know, something happened, let's not talk about it, let's just forget about it. But then it builds and builds and builds,
and then one day poof.
That's too much, and again, there's no perfect marriage, no perfect couple, but you just have to find a way to cope and deal with any situation that
and people that they have to understand with two different people being raised differently, you know, like
from
us
different country, different culture.
From Africa, but we from two different countries, two different culture. The way he was raised is a different way I was raised, so the way I see things is he has his way of seeing things. So we just have to work through it. You know, in the beginning of the marriage, sometimes it was difficult, you know, but you have to trust God. You know, sometimes the Holy Spirit is our teacher.
So I want to ask, apart from sex, because we established that sex is not the only way, we have to be intimate in our marriage, what other ways then? What do we do when we're not having sex that just keeps us intimate with each other?
I mean, there's other ways. For instance, like you can lay in bed with your wife, just lay to each other, just hug each other. You know, just you know.
And sometimes I stand in the kitchen and then come and give me a little
jolt, you know, wake her up. You know,
and
I just stand behind
you, give me a hug.
Just hold her.
You know, they give me a hug or a kiss.
Okay.
A kiss, cuddle.
Can you trust a man with just coming and kissing you and not having sex? Though I can't trust mine. I'll be like, which one you want? The kiss or something else that will, you know. So you sometimes with this one,
Yeah, we no. Sometimes no. I mean, it's not all the time, but sometimes we kind of like just stay at that level, kissing, you know, just hugging, touching, and then if the person not disposed to do it, then you say, okay, fine, go to sleep. If the person want to do it, and then you take it to that level, but it's not always the conclusion you want to reach.
So is it that every time your partner don't want to do it, you have to always, all right, let's not do it? Or you kind of come up with a negotiation?
Sometimes you have to compromise.
That's a compromise.
You have to compromise. You have to compromise.
Yeah, many times, and I understand too. Ever since she started her business, she gets tired a lot. So a lot of times she says, oh, babe, I'm tired. And I say, okay, fine. You know what I'm saying? It's occupation.
But other times, how long would you expect someone? Because there are people who are going through that right now, and what I'm hearing you say is probably what you're going to hear you say, that whenever your wife or your husband doesn't want it, just understand. Is there times where your wife can still be tired or your husband can be tired and you still have sex, even if they really are tired?
Yes, and yes, because sometimes you're tired and you cannot make the effort to do it.
Sometimes I'm tired.
Please your spouse.
I want to please him.
Okay.
There's other ways.
Okay.
To please him.
Like what ways?
You know, sometimes the kissing, caressing and all those stuff.
Are you not making it worse though?
Well, like I said, her body is a magnet, so it's my magnet. But
so at the end of the day, you might probably end up doing it.
Yeah. And be like, okay, all right, that's okay. Let's trust me, do it, and then instead of let him, I feel bad.
Yeah, because it is pronounced it's like 2-3 times in a row. Then you kind of like questioning
what's going on?
Are you really into it? Come on, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then you kind of like obliged to say, okay, all right. Let's do it, because been saying no lately because I'm so.
It might not be me 100%, but just for him to be okay, to be able to be satisfied.
You're willing to.
It doesn't have to be always 100%.
Yeah, and don't also get it the idea that it's only the woman that say no.
Yeah.
The men also sometimes say me.
Men do that?
Oh yeah, it's been many times. I'm not today. I don't feel it. I'm not in the mood for it.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is surprising, right? But I'm really like I'm that type of person, like always. But sometimes like, I'm so tired today. Mostly because if I don't sleep enough, my body is not responsive. Responding to impulse or something like that. When I'm very tired.
How does that make you feel?
I'm pissed.
Sometimes she feel offended. I'm like, no, babe, it's not that. It's just I'm tired right now.
I'm pissed. The one who's saying we're tired.
Exactly.
We don't expect that to be.
Because we think that men they want all the time.
Yeah,
so when you say he's tired, I'm like, what's wrong?
So at least the one time I'm asking you should not be tired.
No,
right?
Because it's not all the time I do that. Because he always do that. At least. Yeah.
So, but then again, I know my reason why,
There's something I want to talk about that is probably common in a marriage. Do you think it's who goes first? Who do you think ask for sex more? Is it the male or the woman?
We can talk about our marriage. I think
for you,
husband, for us.
Okay.
I can speak for our marriage.
And that works for you. Does that make you feel any kind of way? When you're the one always asking?
In the beginning, we were both.
Sometimes, no. My wife at one point. She was the I would say instigator.
Okay.
But at one point I was the one just doing all the time, to the point I say, yo, what's going on? Why is it always going to be me acting? You know what I'm saying? And then when you ask it, like, oh no, I'm not, I'm tired or whatever. I'm like, yo, your tiredness is too much now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I think if you're in a relationship and you honestly love each other, it should be both ways. Whoever wants it can initiate it, and the person, the receiving party, say, okay, I'm up for it, or I'm not for it for such reason. You know what I'm saying?
And it doesn't make you feel any kind of way when you go ask for it first, does it?
Nah, it's my husband.
No, because it's impulse. Like I said, it's physiological. Your body, probably your body at that point wants it. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't want to say the word. because I don't want to be in trouble.
Say the word. Say the word.
Her way of doing it, the word no, but mostly by her mannerism.
I want to hear the word.
We have a king size.
I can't say that word.
We have a king size.
You gonna be in trouble.
Really?
Yes, I can't say.
Okay.
I'll say after the thing.
Tell me after the camera.
You know, so
sometimes I'll be like, I feel like,
oh man.
you know.
You know, so basically,
oh man.
it's when I start feeling her, you know, coming, touching, whatever. That's when I know she.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not even like that. Sometimes it's like.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say
you don't
that.
have to say a word. Sometimes
Is it every time that you go touching and touching that you actually want to?
Not all the time, but there's a certain type of touching.
I feel like
You know what I mean?
I feel like men would miss that sometimes. At least my husband. Let me talk for me. Let me not say men. You go and be like, okay, let me kiss him, let me caress him, and the next thing is like, oh, you're flipping over. I'm like, babe, I'm not quite going there yet.
No. Like if I'm not ready, I don't do that with him.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Like,
So don't give me signals.
Yeah, and I'm not a cuddling type. I hug when we need to hug, but sleep cuddling, no, I can't sleep if I cuddle somebody. I gotta be at ease when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So we have a king side bed, and we kind of like we kind of sleep in a way that, you know, if you want to be sleeping without being bothered, you're not bothered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now if you want to be intimate, then we come a little closer, and then. You know what I'm saying? But sleep, yeah, it's like a sleep or cuddling. No, I don't do cuddling, and that's one thing that she had a little problem with, but now she got accustomed, used to it. And,
Talks about compromising. So for when it comes to children are it takes a lot of time for you. You know, how do you kind of balance everything and still be intimate with your spouse when you have kids and now you have a requirement from your spouse? How do you balance that?
Well, as far as we're concerned, our kids know that we're very intimate. They could be there and then we can be hugging, you know, but we can be kissing, but not sexual kissing, if I can put it that way.
Like a peck.
Just a peck, whatever, and you know, and they're used to that. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but my wife, one thing she loved doing is that when we're watching TV, we always sit together. That love seat. We always love seat. That's ours. So every time we're watching the news, whatever we're doing, watching a movie together. So she like to lay on me and her head on me, and then we're watching together. Or she like to sleep on me, you know. And that's all. This is the way of keeping the intimacy, you know, going.
Yeah.
Even with the children on the watching, and we always watch a movie.
Respectful way.
Yeah.
Like they can see how parents can love each other.
Because you want to show them that.
You have to show them different sides.
You know,
different side of the relationship. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good way of balancing it. So the fact that you have kids doesn't mean you cannot still be intimate.
Oh no.
There's a way to do it.
And what we do then, at the same time we're doing that, we always make sure we watch the movie that they can watch. We always watch a cartoon with them.
So extending that intimacy to your children, that's something you can do with them.
Oh yeah, you can do with them. Yeah.
Necessarily be intimate with your children, like your spouse.
Yeah.
You know, that's something good. Yeah.
You can always include your kid. Yeah. Like, you know, watching, which I know every couple probably
we give them about, you know, sometimes my girls they come, oh mommy, I need a, you know, be kind of.
Should we call it intimacy with them though, or being affectionate?
Affectionate. I think affectionate would be the right word. Yeah. And my kids, I can be in the house. They see me all the time. My kid will say hi to me like 1,000 times a day.
Tell me about it.
Hey, hi daddy. Hi daddy. Hi daddy. I didn't go anywhere. I'm still here.
My little one will be like, I just came to see you.
Yes, that's how they do. Yeah. I just want to give you a hug.
I just came to see
hugging
you.
all the time.
Because,
oh my God.
you know, that's what they see, you know, the love. They see love, you know.
So, do we have to be intimate just at home?
No.
Well, that's, for us, we haven't been that adventurous. And I don't think I ever been that adventurous before we got married.
No, babe. When we go to this, doesn't have to be like the sex part. We go out in the park. We hold each other. You know.
I don't think that's what she alluded to.
That's what she's talking about, right?
No.
Yes and no.
I know.
Yeah, we hold each other.
If out there, intimacy out there, yeah, of course, no, yeah. For example, we go to the mall, we hand in hand,
But
you know,
yeah.
holding hands. Oh yeah, we do that a lot. But I thought she talking about
Oh,
spontaneous sex and any other.
Oh, you guys
No.
haven't done that. You're
No,
not that
we-
adventurous.
no,
And
we
it's not
never-
something you guys are interested in.
We never thought about it.
Oh, not on the grass, under the moonlight,
No,
nothing like that.
no. I don't want to be talking about mosquitoes.
We never, actually, it's funny, but we never thought about
I
it.
kind of put some thought in his head, so I expect something.
No, you don't do it. No.
Now, if you're talking about the house, in the house when you by yourself, no kids, and something
Yeah.
at any other place, yeah, of course, but.
When they go to school.
Oh,
Next time.
Living room, bedroom, whatever.
Next time. Have fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You have to be able to have
as far
fun,
as-
you know, in a marriage. That's if there's no fun, that's why sometimes people
Me?
go out there and look for fun.
Me, I would
You
tell
have to
my
be
wife.
able to-
I'm out to my wife. There's nothing shameful when it comes to sex. It's natural. It's a
have to be able to
physiological
enjoy yourself.
predisposition that a human have. I mean, it should not be a shame. It should be like fun.
Well,
And then
thank
from
you,
this-
thank you guys so much for coming. I've learned a lot. I had fun just talking about this with you guys, so thank you for coming. So guys, this is where we'll be ending
Thank you.
today. Again, this is Marital Values, and my name is Samantha E. Do not forget to share, leave your comment, and subscribe if you still haven't subscribed before, and turn on your notification button so you will be first to get every video that we upload. Until next time,
Subscribe.
stay blessed. Bye.